Come with us on this week's vlog as we go through the trials and tribulations that sometimes gardening brings as we dealt with a little bit of snow and, just stuff that goes on in the garden. But you know what? It didn't stop us. We keep on going and are excited to share with you this week's episode where we talk about more seeds, more plants, and getting ready to bring the plants outdoors. Hello, my friends. Well, this week we are starting this week's episode off here in the front yard, which is our Zen garden. Most of the time you see us, we're in the back, but we made this our Zen garden so it was a pretty carefree zone that we don't have to do a lot of work out here, even though Ed was just out here weeding just a little while ago. But today I want to share with you, we have a couple of big pots out here that are hooked up to our drip system, and to talk about one that you can look at gardening differently, of course, depending on where you are. And maybe, Ed, share, oh, there's a beautiful hawk up there. I don't think you can see it from here. Anyway, but the trees are just budding so beautifully right now out here, making it so peaceful. And maybe just pan around, Ed, to this front yard area.
Yeah, they smell great too.
Yeah, they do.
Beautiful.
This is our crabapple tree. And then we have a number of perennials up here, including in our pots. We've got some grape hyacinth who's just coming up on its own. We've had some of our wild tulips come up. Ooh, I don't know if you can get them, Ed. They're not bloomed yet, but there's some more of these. They're just wild tulips that have been coming up for years. But with our pots out here, I have a couple of perennials. I want to do more perennials in them. This one's got a columbine in it, and also some hostas that are coming up. I love hostas because I've got this one let me fix this. I just noticed that this is on the other side of it. Okay. But I want to put in today, pots are great for putting seeds in because the bottom line is it's so expensive to buy annuals at the store these days. And by just buying a packet of seeds, and I happen to have in my pocket here some snapdragons that I have helped to germinate by putting them in the freezer for 48 hours. So that's been happening. I don't know though, as cold as it's been here, we could have done that just outside, right? So come on over here, and one more thing I want to show you is look at these hostas coming up. Now we've had quite a bit of snow here, about 5-6 inches of snow that have come up, and it did not affect the hostas because these are really, again, what I like to call cold weather perennials. They're coming up on their own. Sometimes they'll get nicked by if it gets too cold, but it wasn't that cold of a snow, and it was pretty close to that 32 degrees point, so it didn't harm anything. But the hostas will fill this part of the bed as they're slowly coming up. I just love hostas. So this is, again, because we really want these beds to be, I've got to clean them out for sure, but for the most part over the course of the spring and summer season, they're pretty self-sustaining. I'm going to put some heucheras up here that I'm going to transplant from the back up to the front just to have them in here, but they're all on a drip system and ready to go. So let's go ahead and plant these snapdragons. This is the Tall Maximum blend from our buddies over at Botanical Interests. And all I'm going to really do, I've cleaned out the pot to get the debris from the winter out. And I have a little bit of, there's a few other plants coming up. I can't remember all that was in this pot, so I'm not going to pull them all out. But I want to take some of this seed starter, which is a finer soil, and put this here on the top just because, let's use my hand here, it's finer, and these seeds, as you will see, these snapdragon seeds are very...
Let's see the bag.
It's just very fine dirt.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. And I'm just going to put this around the top to help these seeds to germinate more, because as you will see, they are pretty small, very small.
Hope we don't lose them in the wind today.
I know, right? Look at how small they are.
Oh my God.
So you really want to, as it says on the package, you want to really put them lightly into this, press the seeds. When they say press the seeds, you want to just press them into the soil without putting them in too deep. And I just like to do it like this, just kind of putting them in between my fingers and putting them through. Oh, and here comes the wind. And then just lightly press them in. Hopefully the birds, we've had some pretty aggressive birds this year. We don't normally. I mean, we have a lot of birds, but not as aggressive as they've been this year. The robins this year have been incredibly aggressive. Smash it into the windows. So, all right. And I'll do that to the other pot as well, but I just want to sprinkle them in. I love snapdragons. They're so beautiful, and just kind of lightly press them in to the soil. All right, and as easy as that. And then I'll go ahead and do it to the other pot. But just remember, we're about 4 weeks out from the last frost, hallelujah. And so it's a good time to get out with your pots and put some seeds in them. Just be sure to check the packaging on the back of the package.
What does 4 weeks out mean? So we have 4 weeks in front of us?
That we have 4 weeks until
the last.
Till the last.
The farmer's
the last frost,
kind of
which is Mother's Day. And here in Colorado, Zone 6A. And so it's a good time to get out there with some of these cool weather seeds, which snapdragons are, and get them into your pots. So that's what I wanted to share out here in the front. Again, maybe one more view, Eddie, of the beautiful blossoms. They're so gorgeous. And
nice,
and then I'll
these white ones, and then
the
we were
crab
talking
apples.
about the trees last week. See how the top ones of last year got cold real fast, so that whole top section above that above the little nest up there has to go. But you know what they want for this one and the other one is like $800. So we're just gonna put that on hold for a little bit. Maybe,
all right,
maybe
and so I'm going to get over here and finish up this pot, and then I'll meet you around back, and we will get to look at it and see what's going on in the garden back there. All right, we are here in the back garden after being in the front, and our story's going to change a little today. I was going to tell you some successes, but no, that's not what's going to happen. And if you want to put an angle down to our sad story here. So as you remember last week, we planted the seeds for our cool veggie crops. And yeah, unfortunately, we have a little creature. I don't know where she is at this moment in time, probably hiding because she knows we're going to talk about her. Abby, who is somewhere. She is, she's still a puppy, and we forgot that part. We thought maybe because she's going to be 2 here pretty soon that she would not do this, but she got into this bed, just traipsed across this bed on top of the... Traipsed. It's a good word, isn't it? It's a kind word.
I have to look that one up.
Traipsed across this bed and has really just destroyed everything. The seeds are there, but they're, that's the hard part about seeds is that when they get mished like this, you don't know where they are. And so we're really going to start over. And really, like a lot of things in life, you got to go, okay, this happened. There's nothing I can do about it. And well, I mean, there is something I'm going to do about it after this fact. We do have these little fences.
Yeah, they work pretty good too.
They work really good. And we're going to put them around this after I finish. But it also made me change my mind about what I was going to do because I don't have any more shallot seeds. And so I'm going to end as I was inside assessing. Well, I'll take you there next, but assessing all that we have to come outside from the grow room, that I want to be able to have room for it. So we're going to do a little less. We're not going to do the shallots because I don't have any more shallot seeds. And we are going to put the peppers in this bed when they come out, as well as I do want to figure out, I'm going to rearrange some things. So I'm in the process. I've got my seeds here, what seeds I have left, because here's the other problem over here. If you would come over here, Eddie, and actually you can see how this fence works, because she also got into this bed and I thought I could salvage it, but between her and all the pansies that are coming up, and I think rabbits too, I think we have some rabbit issues happening. Before I put this up, they're just not going to come up, so I do need to replant some of the seeds. We've got some of the spinach is coming up. Eddie, if you could bring it over here. That is the one success story in this bed, but I've got to just go in and I've got to pull out all these. Actually, there's one little lettuce leaf coming up.
Oh, I'll get the bread out. We can have a
but I
sandwich.
would highly recommend, if you've got critters or dogs, especially young ones, to get this kind of a fence because they're very inexpensive. We got these years ago with our first pup, didn't we, with Sammy? We got this, and we've just used them as we've needed them over the years. We keep them back in the barn. They don't take up too much storage space.
Just fold up. They're on the table over there.
Yeah, and they're just over here on the table, getting ready. Because we're gonna next week. I'll share with you. We're gonna do the strawberry bed, and we're gonna put it up around there too. Some of the perennial beds that are more established, they seem to stay out of. But we'll just see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes. But that's it for this week. I think we're going to leave it there because I have some planting to do. And but I will take you into the grow room before I say goodbye for this week, show you what's going on. The peppers are absolutely amazing, as are the tomatoes. I've had a few mishaps. I'll share that with you too, because mishaps, it's just that time of year. And this is what I would say also before we go, is from this section of the vlog, is that if you start planting in April, and again, we've had snow, we've had things going on, doing things, it gives you time when these kind of accidents happen, because they happen to everyone. And so give yourself time, because if you wait to jump in June or July, you run out of time. So that's it, and I'll meet you in the grow room. Heading inside here, I have moved some of the plants down from the grow room upstairs. There's some dahlias here, our mystery plant, which we don't know what it is yet. There's a couple of those, as well as our sole surviving lavender. But the geraniums are thriving up here. We're actually getting our first bud coming any day now. Hasn't happened yet. More dahlias and geraniums. Let me back it up here. That soon will be able to be placed out there. I actually want to take the geraniums and put them in the window box of the she shed out there. So, but again, all this has got to stay put for the next couple of weeks because we have to wait for that first frost. Or the last frost. I keep saying first frost, it's last frost. And I've got a couple of the Mexican sunflowers up here in the front window. And we get some great morning light in here on the east side of the house. And it's just here with a few of our other house plants. This topiary that I created from a struggling lilac. It was a Christmas tree shape when I got it in December, and it was doing pretty good, and it looks like it needs a little trimming now too, but then I decided to be like my friend Linda Vodder and make a topiary. So I've got that one, and I actually then got a little carried away and did that one out of the lemon cypress as well. So these guys are hanging out with our indoor plants, but let's head downstairs and see what's going on down there. Okay, so here down in the grow room, this is what is happening. Our peppers are really ready. I mean, everybody is ready to go outside right now, but we still have about, what, two and a half weeks before they can go out, which is our last frost, which is Mother's Day. We are getting ready to go on a trip, which is why I started these guys a little bit early. And so hopefully I can get them in the ground before we leave. Everything is looking really good. The eggplant is looking healthy and strong. Now, again, I want to, on this theme of lack of perfection, I did lose some guys along the way. These were our green zebra. I lost a couple of the brandy. We lost a brandywine, a couple of the green zebra tomato plants, and that's why I grow so many. I mean, one is that you put the starters in the little starter shells, and you don't know what's going to germinate, what's going to not. But then, as some just up and die. It's just crazy, but they do. It's life with plants. But overall, they look really healthy, and I never know if I'm going to have enough or not. I always have way too many, and I love giving them away, as I've shared with you before. I've got a few little in the nursery here. I've got a few little marigolds, kind of the final ta-da here in the nursery, getting ready to, and they've only been in here a couple of days, and they've really been germinating nicely. More peppers down there, because goodness gracious, we don't have enough peppers. And yeah, so I'm going to rearrange all of this because everything's getting so tall. I can't really use these shelves anymore. So yeah, this afternoon is going to be some rearranging. I'll show them to you next week, along with yeah, what's happening out in the garden, how I have fixed all today's problems. And let me flip the camera around. And let me say a proper goodbye to you. And please leave a comment, subscribe, do all those good things. And I would love to hear from you about what resonated from this week's vlog. And, you know, if there's something that you've experienced along the way that maybe will help me, because I could use all the help I could get. You know, having those critters out in the garden can really be a chore sometimes. But gosh darn it, well, where would we be without them? That's what I say. So they're worth the extra pain that they cost. But let me know what you've got going on, what you've got growing, what you're excited about in the garden this year, and let's go do it. And until next week, onward we grow. Thanks for growing with us, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video, and then of course be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.